Hey everybody, Roman Versus with the Squashfest podcast and my co-host.
Man with tight lips and loose fists. That was wrong. That was 100% wrong.
It's better when you don't practice it. When you don't
I
practice
know.
it, it comes out fluid. And when you practice it, you see?
Keep it all in. Man with loose lips and tight. You know what? The boy hard. Just leave it all in there. Fine. Oh, man.
All right, everybody. So today we're going to be going over last night's Monday Night Raw, which, again, we're a week out from WrestleMania, less than a week out from WrestleMania. This was the last Raw on the schedule. So a lot of things happened, a lot of not anything progressing, more so just extending what we already knew and the stories that were already going on. So take it away.
It felt like a filler episode with 3 segments that were important.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Go home shows, and this is where I would argue, go home shows used to be really important to get you excited for the pay per view.
Mhm.
Think about the Attitude Era. You used to always have a brawl, a beat down, something happened, somebody left bloody before the show. The heel would always stand out over top. This felt like, how do we continue the intrigue, but not without having everybody there, right?
Okay.
You had your Rollins, Punk, and Roman segment, and that was the biggest takeaway from the night. And then you had Jey Uso and Gunther, who had separate one-on-one promos about their match, but they didn't have a face-to-face. And then you had a bunch of promo segments about the matches that are going to happen at Mania. And then you had a really weird Liv Bayley match that, okay, that was fine, I guess. I just felt like Raw lacked a little bit this week. When it had its really highs, and then it had its really lows, and it didn't feel like a Mania setup show. Like if I'm a casual wrestling fan and I'm like, oh, WrestleMania is this weekend, let me see what's happening. That show doesn't get me excited for WrestleMania. That's how I took it.
I agree because the last few weeks have been dramatically different.
Mm-hmm.
Those were shows that got you really excited for the feuds that
Mm-hmm.
were going on currently within the stratosphere of the WWE. I agree. You're not wrong about
Mm-hmm.
any of your take. What was the first?
So the first segment wasn't it Liv and Bayley? They kicked off the show.
Pretty sure what kicked off the show was Heyman waiting outside.
Heyman was waiting outside. They showed Heyman walking in. Oh, he was sitting on the trailer of the bed of the truck,
Yeah,
waiting for Roman Reigns.
yeah.
Liv. So we know that Heyman was looking for Roman Reigns, and Michael Cole kept mentioning it to say he has not spoken to Roman Reigns in kayfabe since the SmackDown a week and a half ago, where Punk revealed that he was going to be in his corner. So he hasn't spoken to Roman since last week when Seth said, "You owe me a favor." He hasn't spoken through all of that. So so Roman shows up, and we're going to get to how Roman showed up at the end of the show because that was hilarious. And I've been saying for weeks, this is literally 2 guys arguing about a girl in high school. And
That's exactly how that came off, that last segment.
I have another line I'm gonna say later when we get to there. All right, but we're gonna kick off with the show. Liv and Bayley had a really fun match. These 2 women, they're really great workers. They're gonna have a really good match, especially Liv. She's been doing the last 2 years of her career. She's been doing such great work. She knows her heel character. She knows who she is, and it's a way she didn't know it as a babyface. So I remember when she was in NXT and she was just coming up with like the Jersey girl with the backwards cap, and she was just, she wasn't getting over. She knows this character. She knows how to get heat. One little tidbit I loved is when she's beating down Bayley in the corner for a 5 count, and she just looks at the ref and just screams at him. It's like, I was just like, oh, Liv is so good right now because she's just like ah. But really good match. You get your heels doing shenanigans in the corner while Bayley and Lyra are trying to, even the odds. And Wrestling trope 101. Whoever stands tall at the end of the match doesn't win at the pay-per-view. And so the end of this match saw Liv trying her best to cheat and hit the Oblivion and do everything she can. So when she goes for the Oblivion in the corner, Lyra grabs Bayley to make sure that she doesn't, come off the ropes. And Bayley just hits a jackknife cover for the 3 count. And Liv's face at the end, her shock face or anger face towards Bayley is like, oh, I'm going to kill her. Again, we've been saying this for a while. You just needed to get Lyra and Bayley on the match, on the card. You have your Intercontinental Champion, and you have one of the 4 or 5 greatest women's wrestlers of all time. You needed to get them on the show somehow. They get the win tonight. They're not winning at Mania. There's no reason for these 2 women to win the championships at Mania. Liv and Raquel are 2-time tag team champions.
I think it's 2-time.
I think it's 2 times for the 2 of them, and Liv had one with Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right. Because Michael Cole was saying she's a 3-time tag team champion. I was trying to figure out when. Really, like I said, there's no reason why Liv and Raquel should lose these titles.
At all.
Liv is doing a job of elevating Raquel to a point where we care about Raquel Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked Raquel Rodriguez.
I just love her.
Yeah, she's just when you have such other big, large women stars,
mm-hmm.
Bianca, Rhea, Tamina still wrestles for them when she's there. And then you have Nia on the other show. I feel like you can lose a little bit with Raquel because she's supposed to be this large, dominant figure. But you can't really be the large, dominant heel when you have other large, dominant baby faces. And I feel like that's a problem for Raquel, and they don't really know how to book her sometimes.
Agreed. But that's why I love the fact that she's more of this enforcer type for Liv Morgan because she's so tiny. So I love the pairing of the 2, and it just reminds me of like Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels ish. And we've talked about this in length that I feel like they don't book Raquel correctly. But luckily with this, with the Judgment Day and everything, she's getting a lot more shine on her. I agree with everything you said. This was a great match. I'm surprised that you didn't point out, because this is where you throw me off. Sometimes when a face does something heelish, you tell me, no, that's fine. But then other times they're like, no, they did this. They should have turned heel at that moment. And I'm just like, but that doesn't make any sense because other times when they do it, you say that it's perfectly fine, that it's not heel. And so when Lyra did that, I thought
it's a heel move.
Okay, but that's what I was going to say.
It's in response to the heels already cheating.
Okay,
so she's counteracting what they're doing,
which is fine. I'm just saying that at that moment, I'm surprised you didn't say anything when we watched it when it was going down.
Now, if they would have done that and then attacked them afterwards, I'm like, oh, heel turn. No, but this is literally just Lyra helping her friend because she got tired of the other 2 cheating.
Yeah, that's fine. The other thing is this made me, and it's a quick plug for what we've been watching. It made me appreciate LFG a lot more because remember they kept going over the fact that the heels need to be heels and they need to do heel things during the match. To see how they were critiquing on that show and then seeing it play out live with Liv being the perfect heel during that match made me appreciate it so much more.
This is why I love the behind the scenes stuff. Not every wrestling fan is going to want to watch LFG because they don't want to see the behind the scenes. They don't want to see how the sausage is made, right? They don't want to see the booking of the matches. They just want to see their stories and their characters, which is absolutely perfectly fine. If you listen to other old school wrestling pundits, they're like, why are you letting people behind the curtain? You shouldn't be letting them do that. I love it because it shows you what these people in real life deal with. WWE on the network, they used to have a show called Breaking Ground, and they had the same thing. They followed Aaliyah around when she was in NXT. They followed a bunch of wrestlers around, and they showed them the struggles of trying to break it into the business. And it was documentary style, and they did a really good job. So LFG is a really good show if anybody wants to watch something that is not about it's about the character work, but it's not about the in-ring story on a weekly basis. It's about These guys who are trying to get NXT contracts and they're just breaking into the business. And then you have guys like Bully Ray, Undertaker, Booker T, Michelle McCool, Mickey James. Road Dogg was on the last episode we watched, teaching them the ins and outs of the business. So it's actually really fun to watch. And like Roman said, then you can appreciate what the guys who are on TV every single week do, and the psychology that they use in their wrestling matches.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we get that. Then we get Gunther, and Gunther is doing, I don't want to say it's his best work on the main roster because he did have that 1.5 or almost 2 year Intercontinental Championship reign, but his promo last night, it was anger, it was fear, it was insecurity within himself. It was all of these things wrapped up in one, and he did an amazing job last night, especially when he looks at the camera and he cuts the promo into the camera, which is something not a lot of people do, but I wish it would utilize more, especially in blood feuds. He basically turned Jey's own words against Jey, talking about you need to pray to God that I show mercy, that when I call my mother, which is what Jey said his problem with last week, Jey said, when I called my mother, she said, why didn't you protect your brother? He said, when I call my mother, I'm going to look at her and say, I'm going to revel in your blood at WrestleMania. And it was a really effective promo. It was really good. And it goes to show you that we know who the heel and the babyface is in this feud.
Yeah.
There are certain feuds who you don't know. And there's a main event segment in this show where you can make the argument for all three of them being babyfaces. You can make the argument for all three of them being heels. But in this feud, Gunther is 100% the heel. And if Jey Uso, and I said this to you last time we were watching it, if Jey Uso loses, and I don't think either of us think he's going to lose. I think we both think he's going to win the match.
Yep.
But we also thought Cody was going to win at WrestleMania 39.
Yeah.
If Jey Uso loses to Gunther, the heartbreak of every single young Jey Uso Yeetle, the Yeetle-mania fans that are out there, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be so bad.
Yeah.
I almost want it.
Yeah.
Because I almost want it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how you can turn Gunther into this huge heel.
Yeah.
You push him even further by having him beat Jey at Mania.
Yep.
But I don't think they want that. I think WWE is going to have Jey win this match because they want the moment of, they want the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 moment where he's there and the entire crowd is doing the yes. They want the entire crowd doing the yeet with Jey as he wins championship celebrating.
Agreed.
And so I think that's going to be the outcome. But Gunther, this promo was amazing. To the point where I told you later in the show, we didn't need a Jey Uso promo.
We did.
So we'll get to that later, but Jey Uso comes out and he cuts his own promo, and it was just 10 minutes of show you can cut. I don't hate him. There are things that they do with him. There are things that they do with him just to pop the crowd that are unnecessary.
100%. He's a cartoon character, but that's okay. That's okay.
God, I don't need cartoon characters in my wrestling. This isn't 1985.
First off,
I don't need Ultimate Warrior running around. I don't need Ultimate Warrior running around.
You can't say that. You cannot say that and then be the same guy who be amping up the stuff that they do in the indies that's completely childish. You can't do that. Wrestling,
the indies aren't $1 billion company.
It doesn't matter. Wrestling is about all genres being mashed up into one. That's why we got romance, we got blood feuds, we got brother versus brother, betrayals left and right. Wrestling is literally
this was not in one of our
genre.
podcasts, but I literally told you there are 4 stories in wrestling.
Yes, I remember.
This was not in one of our podcasts. So for our fans, there are 4 stories in wrestling. You have belt, I want belt. You took my girl, I need to beat you. I'm big guy, you're big guy, I'm big guy. We need to see who the biggest monster is. I forgot what 4 was. You beat me down. I need my receipt. I think that was 4. Those are the 4 stories in wrestling. That's all that matters. That's all it is. Everything else is just an amalgam of those 4 stories.
Well, I was also gonna say you got big guy and little guy. Little guy got to come
David
on
and
top.
Goliath.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll throw that in there. Which actually does that put us into a no? That would be for SmackDown because that'll be Zelina. I was say, does that give us the next match? All right, so actually, I think I went backwards. I think Gunther led off the show. Yeah, Gunther led off the show, and then we had Liv and Bayley. Whatever, I flipped them.
It's fine.
Doesn't really matter. So after the Liv and Bayley, we get Rey Mysterio and Julius Creed in a really, really fun singles match. And if you've never watched the Creed brothers and the tag team in NXT, or if you didn't watch their matches against the War Raiders going for the tag titles, or you haven't seen Julius Creed work, please go watch this match. Julius Creed is so good at being a heel, big guy. He almost reminds me of not Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas. He almost reminds me of Charlie Haas in the ring, where everything he does has a reason he's doing it. The backbreakers, the leg strikes. He's super athletic. The moonsaults he was hitting. Really fun match. Really great showcase for Julius Creed. Both factions make their way to the ring to help out their team after some shenanigans from American Made. I struggle with that every time. After shenanigans from American Made, and then the rebuttal from LWO, all 6 members of the team get kicked out to get sent back to the back by the referee. They bye, and then so we got a real one-on-one match between Rey and Julius Creed until my new favorite superstar, the greatest luchador of all time, comes out. And Chad Gable is so good. The fact that they gave him time to change his singlet. He was wearing a Chad Gable singlet when he was ringside. And then when he came back as El Grande Americano, he was wearing his El Grande Americano singlet with the tassels. It was amazing. I was just like, oh, that's a little funny thing. Because a couple months back when Chelsea Green came back, she was just wearing a luchador mask and she was still wearing the same clothes. And I was just like, what is Chelsea doing? So Chad Gable / El Grande Americano comes out, and he comes out with the loaded mask again. And you could see him putting the metal into his mask. And he hits Rey Mysterio in the head with the thing, and I think Rey still got the win in this match. It's still crazy. I don't think Julius Creed got the win. Yeah, no. Rey still got the win in this match.
Yeah.
So he tries to cheat. Rey fights him off. Rey beats him with a 619 and the splash. While I think that's when Chad puts the metal thing in after Rey fights him off. So he hits him with a 619. He hits him with that little splash off the springboard, and you don't see it on camera, but he does put the metal plate in, and he starts headbutting everybody. And then Alpha Academy, nope. American Made comes out. American Made comes out, and they start beating everybody down. Again, please stop with the flying headbutts. Like every week, I'm going to lament this until they stop with that flying headbutt. American Made and El Grande Americano stand tall or sit tall because he was just sitting in the ring pointing at the thing as they went away. And to your point, do you think Rey beats Chad at Mania?
No.
You don't think so? You think the heels stand tall on the go home to Mania, and you think El Grande wins at Mania?
So I told you I want Rey to win, but I think that Chad comes out with the win. Originally, I did think that Rey was gonna win and unmask him, but then remember I flipped it because I want Dragon Lee to be the one to unmask him. At this point, I'm not sure. I mean, Rey won the match
Mm-hmm.
which by that would mean that Chad is going to win at Mania, but the group as a whole stood
Stood tall.
tall.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them standing tall on both shows.
Okay. That kills the LWO. That kills them even further than they are right now.
Good
You
sir.
can't. You
Good
can't
sir.
pile.
Good sir. You can't kill something that's been dead. It's been dead. They've done nothing with them.
Here's my argument to that. Yes, they're dead. 2 shotgun blast, double tap, zombie land to the face. Right? They're already gone.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio still has a mystique about Rey Mysterio.
100%.
He's still the 3-time WWE champion, the greatest little man in the history of the business. He's still that guy. Having him lose on Raw and then having him lose again, you're burying the Hall of Famer.
But he didn't lose on Raw. He won.
Okay, having him get beat down on Raw and not get his receipt at Mania has him makes him look weak. So I think the right move is for Chad to win. Mm-hmm. But I can't see them doing it twice times in a row. Like is
I understand your logic.
Yeah.
I understand your logic. I'm just saying I think it's too early to unmask him.
I agree.
He's only had the mask for what, a month?
But then it's been a month. So you can have Ray win and not unmask him. You can have Ray win, get a fluke roll up win off of a Hurricane Runner or something, and then when he goes to unmask him, the group comes out to save him, or something happens.
You're not wrong.
Something happens and Ray can't unmask him.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
A returning Rusev comes and takes down Rey Mysterio. I don't know, something.
Stop.
I just want Rusev back on the show. So we had that, and it was a really good match, like I said. Then we get AJ Styles and Karrion Kross in a match. Mm-hmm. And this was really fun. My lament was, and I know it's because I had on my VPN and I could see the international feed, Karrion Kross is getting back to who he was in NXT. They gave him his old entrance back. They gave him his old intro.
Well, Michael Cole was saying that Karrion Kross requested his old music, his old entrance, and all that because he wants to get back to how he was when he was in NXT.
Correct. Yes. But they did not show that to the American audience. That was only during the commercial break.
Nice.
So, doesn't really mean anything if you're not showing it to the American audience. So we saw it because it was on commercial break. His entrance is amazing. Even the transition from black and white when Scarlett is lip syncing her part to the fiery red, almost like he's a demon coming from hell, showing up out of nowhere. And I've always thought he was criminally underrated. Go watch our TikTok and how I would book him. They have a really good match. AJ, 48, 49 years old, can still go out there doing some crazy style things. Karrion's reasoning for this match was he wants to bring out the old bulldog version of AJ Styles. He wants that guy who's more aggressive, who wants to destroy people because he doesn't feel that Logan Paul should be in wrestling. By the way, we'll talk about the finish of that anyways because the after match shenanigans make no sense to his reasoning. So they have a really good match. Karrion Kross is hitting a lot of stuff. If you've never seen an old Karrion Kross Killer Kross match, he's a really good chain wrestler on top of being a big guy. He was doing some really, really nice arm bars. He was doing some really nice Kimuras during this match. And then to the point, eventually, I think he slaps AJ or he does something to AJ in the corner, and you can see AJ just immediately get fired up. And you saw 2016 AJ Styles go off. He was Pele kicks, backhands, all of these things, like that little spurt of stuff that only AJ Styles can do. AJ gets the win, and I didn't point this out during the match last night. I saw what he did, but I didn't really see it until I watched it back on socials. When AJ hits the phenomenal forearm, Karrion Kross kind of takes his hands and puts them behind his back and takes it. He doesn't try to block it. Almost like he was sacrificing himself for the greater good. I can see
to get AJ again to that point, to get AJ back to where he was going to be, which is
exactly
great storytelling.
Great storytelling. He's such a psychological guy. If you've ever listened to him talk to Chris Van Vliet or anybody else, he's such a psychological guy, smart guy
Mm-hmm.
outside of his character that I can see him doing stuff like that. He also cut a really great promo and put it on his social media afterwards, talking about the same things. Like, we need that AJ Styles back. We need that guy. And I saw the glimmer of it tonight. And he goes, because he says, I need that AJ because we can't lose to the YouTuber. Because if we lose to the YouTuber, what the hell have I been doing with my career for 11 years? If we lose to the YouTuber, we should have all just been YouTubers and not professional wrestlers. So his promo, go out, we'll look it up. I don't do it justice. He did a great job. It was a social media promo. I saw it on his Twitter earlier today. But my problem with the end of the segment was everything I just said about him saying, if we lose to the YouTuber, why, when Logan Paul comes out to confront AJ Styles, does Karrion Kross then attack AJ Styles after the match?
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense.
He should have attacked Logan.
You should have been stood with AJ. Well, I don't know if they wanted to do that part of it because then you're kind of making him a babyface with AJ against the heel.
I got you.
But at least stand on the outside of the ring.
And leave. Or leave.
Leave or stand on the outside of the ring just watching AJ Styles and Logan Paul fight. Mm-hmm. And then if AJ gets beat down, you should have this psychopath staring at him. Like, there are other things you could have done with him other than have him attack the guy who you're trying to inspire to beat the other guy who just happens to be right there.
Yep.
That makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But that was a really fun match. Okay, so you want to talk about this Jey Uso promo? Because I feel like it's going to come off as hate if I do it.
So Jey Uso comes out. At first, he was doing the thing that he did last week, which was he was not yeeting. He was just coming out super serious, super stoic again, all wearing all black. Comes out. I'm thinking he's going to give us more or less that and then cut a promo real quick. Whatever, that'll be that. He comes out, he essentially does that, but then he just turns it into a giant-ass party, and it lost all relevancy to what happened last week and how he was super stoic and we were taking him serious. He went right back into his super mega character, right back into yeeting and going off with the crowd, and I just thought that was so out of character. If it would have been done in the reverse, it still wouldn't have made sense, but it would have made a lot more sense than him coming out this week after last week, after he put on that great performance and then just reversed on everything. That's basically what it was. He just spun the block, and now he's back to happy-go-lucky Jay, it seemed like. It didn't make any sense to me.
Gunther just literally an hour earlier cut a promo saying, I wished I would have bathed you in your brother's blood.
And you
literally an hour ago.
And this is you.
And you come out standing on the announce desk, dancing around.
Yep.
This segment made zero sense.
And he started off fine when he was like, I heard your promo, and basically what I'm hearing is you're scared. You're worried. That was fine. But it was just after he cut his promo that he went back into that. And again, him standing on the table, that was just out of pocket. He should have went into the ring. Like, it was all over the place. It was just it didn't make sense for the character and where we are in the story.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you last night, like, you could have cut this and kept it as impactful with just Gunther's promo.
Yeah.
Just have Gunther cut that promo.
You didn't need Jey to talk at all. You didn't need him. Agreed. You could have cut.
You want to have Jey on the show? Put him in the commercial breaks for the crowd.
Yeah.
Do something. Do you want to pop the crowd? Do that. Put him in the commercial breaks for the crowd. There was no reason for him to be. Oh, I'm in Gunther's head, so now I'm just gonna dance around. I'm gonna tell everybody I'm gonna win the world championship. There was that didn't advance anything. Mm-hmm. It didn't make me happier to see this match. It didn't make me more excited to see this match. It didn't do anything going into Mania. It just makes me, again, this is 2009 Jeff Hardy when he was feuding with Punk and Punk was telling him all the things about his alcohol abuse and his narcotics abuse, and Jeff Hardy would still dance on his way to the ring. Like, what are you doing? He's ripping your brother to shreds. He's basically saying, I'm going to beat you for the 4th time because you can't beat me. And you're acting like you're at the Apollo. That's a dated reference, I know. But I was say Studio 54. That's even more dated reference.
How old are you trying to make us?
I mean, we're nearly 40, but Studio 54 was 50 years ago, I think. But we still understand those references. I don't know modern clubs. Club Liv, is that a thing down here in Miami? I think that's a thing. I need to go out more. I think Club Liv is a thing down here in Florida. But he's acting like he's out at the club. So there was no reason for this.
That's fine. We can move on.
Yeah, let's just move on. Penta and Finn Balor. Really good match.
Yep.
These two are some of the best workers
and
in
you
the
know
world.
it will be. Like even before anything, as soon as you hear those two names, you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be a banger."
Yeah, absolutely. Finn, criminally underrated, criminally underutilized as a performer. Penta, formulaic in his matches, but still fun to watch. I make the joke all the time that I don't like the way he looks. I don't. But when he's in the ring, you don't roll your eyes at me again.
I'm super rolling your eyes. No, he does
like
not. Stop
Mexican
saying that.
ninja.
Oh my god.
He does.
Oh my god. Moving on.
So they have a really good match. Judgment Day was not ringside with Finn. They gave him 10, 15 minutes to show what these two can do. This was a AEW New Japan style match with a lot of strikes, a lot of chops, a lot of drop kicks, a lot of what you expect over at the other company with these two guys. Penta looked really great, hitting the Mexican destroyers, hitting his spots. Finn, okay. Here's the one thing my one takeaway. Between them two and Seth Rollins, someone has to stop using the sling blade. All of them constantly with the sling blade.
You have so many problems with specific moves. It's ridiculous.
Because if you're going to make a move yours, then no one else should use it. It should matter when you see it on the screen.
But they're not finished. Nobody's using it as a finisher.
No, they use it as a transitional move to get into something else.
Yeah, I get you. But what I'm saying is it's not like everybody's using the stunner. Then I'd understand your point.
I saw 2 last night. I saw one from Bayley hitting Liv off the top rope. And what was the second one? There was definitely a second one somewhere in there. But it's just like I have problems when wrestlers use the same move, and this is why I don't watch the other companies sometimes. When wrestlers use the same move in every matches. Because we're seeing too many of the same thing over and over again. We're seeing, and it doesn't really,
because every match is like its own little production, and it's not like hey, what are you guys doing tonight? Hey, what do you like? They don't talk to each other to say
that's a problem with the agents. The agents should be talking to each other. Whoever's helping them put their matches together should be doing that.
If we're talking rings collapsing, then I'd understand your point. Like they couldn't do that in every match. You understand? Like it depends, but like a move set, I don't know.
Here's another one of my takes. Why do we have 2 different wrestlers?
Okay.
Who use the same spear as a finishing move?
Who?
Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns.
Because it's not the same spear.
If one person is using the spear as a finishing move, the other person should not use the spear as a finishing move. I don't care that they both played football.
I get you, but Roman Reigns has the spear and the Superman punch.
And Braun Breaker has the spear and whatever that Frankensteiner thing is off the top rope. But Roman doesn't get wins with the Superman punch.
I guess you're right.
Anyways. So really fun match. We got on a tangent off of me talking about sling blades. Really fun match. These two guys are really, really great athletes. moving the story along. Oh, before the match, I didn't even talk about this. Before the match, Judgment Day beats down Braun Breaker in the back, jumps him,
Yep.
high school style. Beats him down, throws him into the barricade, throws him into the supply cases in the back. So you think Braun is done for the night? I didn't, but wrestling fans, he's done.
Yeah.
So eventually, Penta's starting to get momentum. Carlito and Dom hit the ring. As soon as Carlito and Dom hit the ring, Braun's music hits, and Finn has the crazy. I was like, oh god, we're in trouble. And Carlito is hilarious. He turns around. He's on the ramp side of the ring, while Dom is on the other side of the ring. And if you saw last week's spear that he hit him with, I literally said to Roman, Carlito needs to get the hell out of there.
Yep.
Carlito needs to get out of there. And he did. As soon as Braun started making his way down the ramp, he ran through the ring, through the match. He was like, I need to get away from this. Braun hits the ring and immediately clotheslines Finn, immediately hits Penta, and does a DQ. Judgment Day hits the ring. We have an all-out brawl. Penta eventually hits a tope off the top rope to a waiting Braun Breaker, and Dominic Mysterio and Carlito, who are on the outside to catch him. You have Penta in the middle of the ring, standing tall, and you have Finn on the ramp side of the ring, looking at everything. So you have your one super babyface, one heel, standing tall, while the other two, Dom and Braun, are down. And Braun did something. I don't know if anybody caught it. When he went down, he grabbed his ankle. So I'm hoping he didn't get hurt trying to catch them.
I saw that.
Yeah, so because there would be no reason for Braun to grab his ankle trying off of a moonsault. So I'm hoping Braun didn't get hurt trying to catch them. Really fun match. I think this could be one of those show-stealing matches.
Agreed.
Because all four of these guys can work.
Yeah.
Dom, we talk about all the time, is underrated. He knows how to work as a heel. But if you let him actually go out there and show what he can do, there are 4 different styles of wrestler. And this could be one of those shows. I think it's on night 2. He could steal night 2. Because we're not going to get a great match, in my opinion, out of Cedar Cody. I think we're going to get a good story, like last year where Roman Cody wasn't a great match, but you had the story and the extracurriculars.
Okay,
I think you get a great story out of Cena Cody that entertains us. We're not going to get a great match. I think this could be the match of the night on night 2, if not for the women's triple threat match that's also going to be on night 2, because that's going to be bonkers. Talk about those 3 women into a segue. Actually, before I even go into the segue about those 3 women, what did you feel about the Intercontinental Championship segment?
I was questioning what they were going to do because I was like, number one, you got to have Penta get his lick back against Braun Breaker, which they did. And then 2, I was like, you can't have either of these people lose the match necessarily. It doesn't look good going into Mania. So they did it perfectly. DQ, and we figured that. I think we called it too. We were like, it'll probably end at a DQ or whatever. We spoke about it in length, and that's exactly what they did. I thought it was the right move, because going into Mania now, yeah, you saw those 2 standing, but realistically, according to our tropes, right, that we follow and we believe in or whatever, you still don't know who's gonna win that match. We believe
it should be Dom.
We believe it should be Dom.
But I think Dom should win because I think the stories coming out of it would be best. Yep. But I would not be surprised if any of the 4 of them walked out with the championship.
Yep.
This is one of those where it is very close. And we have our WrestleMania predictions up on TikTok. You guys can go see. But this is one of those matches where it's really hard to call.
Because Penta, he's a rising star. He's shooting up the charts, right? He's shooting up. They can easily give him the title, and it would look great for him. And then the rest can go on to do whatever. And it's business as usual for the members of the Judgment Day. Or you could give it to Braun And again, business as usual. Everybody just continues doing whatever they're doing. And if you give it to Finn, then now he's boasting about, the fact
Yep.
that he's the champion. Now you got that going on in the Judgment Day. Or,
And he can be like, I'm now the leader of the group because I'm the only one with the gold.
yeah,
Well, Liv and Raquel, but I'm the only one with singles gold.
essentially. Or you give it to Dom, and then that solidifies the breakup. Or maybe you don't even break them up. Maybe you keep them in and have them bickering. We think it's a
Yeah,
better
for a while.
story. We think it's a better story for them to break up, and then essentially you have that feud between Dom and Finn. But you can have them still bickering if Dominic wins.
Yeah, for a little bit.
For a little bit before you break them up or whatever. But either way,
Not
to
if
your
he
point,
pins Finn.
not if he
Not if
pins
he
Finn.
pins
Not
Finn.
if he pins Finn. But that's what we want. We want him to
Yeah.
pin Finn. But essentially, yeah, to your point, any one of these guys can take it. Any one of these guys. But we're rooting for Dominic.
Yes, absolutely. I love Dominic Mysterio. I've been saying this for a couple years now, and everybody argues with me. I think Dom is a future WrestleMania main eventer. I think he has everything in him to be a great superstar on either the heel or the babyface side. He has that charismatic character down pat, like where in a lot of ways where people don't get it. And how do you not get to the main event in World Wrestling Entertainment? You don't know how to entertain. And Dom knows how to entertain fans. So I think he's gonna be a main eventer one day. Before we go on to the next match, we had 3 promo segments for the 3 women for the World Heavyweight Championship on Sunday. One by Bianca, one by Rhea, and one by Io. And I don't know if you caught this, but Bianca and Rhea's were still super disrespectful to Io. Each of their promo segments were not talking about Io Sky, the champion.
Yeah.
Bianca's was talking about how she had to overcome the adversity of seeing her 2 friends beat each other down and then still had to win Elimination Chamber, and how she's still the EST of WWE and all these other stuff. But she doesn't talk about the actual champion or how she's going to beat the champion. Rhea is talking about how Bianca screwed her twice in her matches. Once when she was defending against Io, and when she said, "I'll see you at Mania, Bianca," and then Io beat her. And then the second one when Bianca was
The
the special guest referee. So she looks at Bianca as, "You cost me that championship twice." Neither one of them talked about the champion.
Which is great. Which is great because it continues the story of how they're disrespecting her. It's little subtleness to it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. But Io was just like, y'all gonna stop disrespecting me. Which was
Io's
perfect.
promo was, y'all gonna stop disrespecting me. I'm the champion. I have beaten you both.
Yeah.
I have beaten you both. And Rhea's never beaten Io going back to NXT. I think she's 0-3 against her. Like
I thought it was 0-4 at this point.
No, it was 0-4. No, that you're getting her and Gunther and Jey confused.
Oh, okay.
Gunther is gonna make Jey 0-4. I think Io is already 0-3.
Okay.
I mean, I think Io's 3-0 against Rhea. Yeah, she's like, I've beaten you both, and y'all can't stop arguing amongst each other to realize I'm the head of this division. So I thought their promo segments were really, really good. Again, this is why
better win this match.
I agree. Like, Io's got to win.
If
you want to elevate her,
I'm telling you right now, if Io doesn't win, I'm throwing my chair. I'm throwing my chair.
We need to record our reactions to a lot of this. I don't care if we just have the 3-hour recording or 4-hour recording just of our reactions of us watching the entire show,
and then just clip the reactions.
We need to clip. We need to record this because she better win. Because you already have, and I've said this about the 2 of them. They're the Cena and the Orton of the women's division. They already made stars. Them losing doesn't hurt them. But you want to make Io on their level? You want to elevate her to Bianca and Rhea status? Io gets that win. She gets the win over both of them. And that's how you elevate her to the next star.
Who does she pin?
Rhea.
Okay. Why
So
Rhea?
Bianca could continue. I've never been pinned at WrestleMania.
Which is what I told you, and you said no because that doesn't count. I
She'd still
literally
have a
said that to
loss.
you.
No, she'd still have a loss, but she can say I've never been pinned at WrestleMania because
I
if you
get you.
noticed during her promo, I've always said Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania, but then people were like, no, she lost a battle royal at WrestleMania one time. So it's people like, oh, she lost a match. It's a battle royal, no one really cares. But in her promo, she said, I've never been pinned at WrestleMania, is what she said during her promo. So if Rhea loses, Rhea should lose because she whined and complained her way into this match.
Mm-hmm.
In kayfabe, she has no right to be in this match. So she whined and complained her way into this match. She should be the one to take the pinfall.
But also, I feel
Bianca,
like it also does something for her character too, because again, if we harken back 2 weeks ago when she put out that promo backstage,
she looks crazy.
She looked crazy, which is what
Mm-hmm.
we wanted more of. I feel like we'd get a little more back to that because we kind of strayed from it. Let's get back to that with her being pinned at Mania.
Yeah, they could have done something really interesting with her going a little bit nuts, but instead they went to the next week and worst GM of all time, Adam Pearce, is just like, I'm putting you in the match, which made her happy.
Yeah.
But we didn't explore why she was starting to lose her mind.
Hopefully we get back to that.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get back to that because that'll be a different sort of baby face for her. Because again, light puppies on fire, throw poop at the crowd, and still be a baby face. So we get that, and then final segment of the night. So we talk about Roman and CM Punk fighting over the girl.
Yep.
Throughout the course of the show, Paul Heyman is waiting for Roman Reigns in the back. Right before the main event segment, CM Punk walks up to his best friend and puts his arm around him.
Yep.
That's when Roman's Cadillac shows up. And Roman does the thing, and he looks, and I'm going to say this PG, but so in a way that you understand what I'm saying. Roman looked like the husband sitting in the corner of the room in the Lazy Boy.
Repeat that?
Roman, when he was looking at Punk and Heyman, was looked like the husband sitting in the corner of the room in his Lazy Boy.
You're an idiot. And you, because that went over my head for a second. I was like, what did he say? I was like, repeat that last part. You're trying to get us canceled on a weekly basis. And
I'm not. I'm saying I said that PG. I did not say it the way I would say it to you if we were not recording. Because he looked like the guy whose girlfriend is cheating on him in front of him, and the girlfriend either does not care or the girl's like, no, baby, we're just friends. He's just getting me lunch today, or he's my work husband, or something like that. That's what Roman Reigns looked like when he showed up. He just stared at Punk and he stared at Heyman. He goes,
that's the friend that you tell me not to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
100%. And Punk's face.
And Punk was just eating it up.
Selling.
He's like,
he goes,
yep.
Yep, this is mine now.
Yep.
This is mine now. And then when he walks away, Paul Heyman, so Roman walks away from them after looking in disgust, and Paul Heyman scuffling along, my tribal chief. It was hilarious. So they get to the ring, and you called this. They get to the ring. Heyman has the mic, and he does the thing where he's going to give Roman the microphone. He's going to hand his tribal chief the microphone. And you called this.
And you said no.
And I said no. I said no because Roman had to assert his dominance.
Yeah.
That's how I thought. You said Roman's going to go grab a mic from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman didn't just grab a mic from somebody else. He shoulder bumped Paul Heyman out of the way to get his microphone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can't even bother to acknowledge your presence right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're just in my way. So Roman's cutting the promo. Roman's talking to the city of whatever they're in last night. I don't remember. Don't ask me.
Why do you always bring up the city when you never remember?
Because I want to say the city and acknowledge
me. But
me.
you don't remember. Like, what is the point of bringing?
Sacramento. They were in Sacramento last night. So he goes, Sacramento, acknowledge me. So Sacramento acknowledges him, and then he starts cutting his promo, talking about, hey, Sacramento. And the thing I've been saying about Roman, his character is all about betrayal. He goes, I've been betrayed
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yep.
And who do you think has betrayed me?
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman's face, he's selling it. And the crowd starts chanting the "you effed up" chants.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman just looks and he goes, Sacramento, I don't think he can hear you. Let's do it a little louder. And he raises the mic and they get louder. And as he goes to talk again, talking about his betrayal, who hits the ring? The man who started the betrayals of Roman Reigns,
The troll.
who the troll, who comes out, and again, Seth Rollins' character, you hate it, but I called it out. He came out looking like a Shield agent or a member of the Shield, but if he were going very effeminate with his Shield gear. It was not the traditional tack vest. It was a more leather style vest, no arm sleeves, and like he looked like he was purposely trying to get under Roman's skin.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets into the ring and he starts cutting a promo and he's telling Roman, I told you this would happen. And I told him this. And I don't even want a favor from him. But you need to understand that a favor is a choice. A favor is not something that you do or you have to do because you're forced to do so.
Yep.
A favor is a choice. And your wise man, your tribal chief is no, I'm sorry, you're the tribal chief. Your wise man is choosing to be in
Honor that
Punk's
favor. Yeah.
to be in Punk's corner instead of you. He is choosing him over you because and he calls Paul Heyman a scumbag. He goes because he's a scumbag and he's only going to be there for himself.
Yep.
He's choosing him over you. And Roman's looking at Rollins, and Heyman said the thing that I said. Why is he listening to the guy who put a chair in his back 11 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Roman and Heyman's like, why are you listening to him? Him of all people. He doesn't care about you. He's said so many bad things about you.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman says, he's right. You are making a choice. But so do I. Or so did I. And he clotheslines Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts beating him down. And again, the PTSD, and I think this is where they don't when they fail at WWE. Sometimes they did it last year at WrestleMania because Shield music had Rollins came out in Shield gear. The PTSD of seeing Rollins in that gear,
Mm-hmm.
the PTSD of being that guy trying to get into Roman's brain, set him off to a level where he can't control himself. He's beating down Seth Rollins, and then he gets up and he gets in Heyman's face.
Mm-hmm.
And Heyman's trying to plead with Roman, and Roman pie faces Heyman so hard, throws him into the corner, which brings out CM Punk. And Punk and Roman start feuding, start fighting. Eventually, Troll himself, Seth Rollins, gets back into the ring, and they framed it so beautifully because I called it as they were framing it. Framed it so beautifully where Rollins comes in with a chair and shades of the Shield implosion of 2014. Hits Roman in the back with the chair, hits Punk with a curb stomp. Rollins stands over the both of them in his Shield gear, in his half blonde hair, because I think that was intentional as well, to have him look like how it was 11 years ago. Standing over Paul Heyman, who's in the corner, bug-eyed, can't believe that his two guys are down to the feet of Seth Rollins. And that segment was actually intriguing because Rollins stood tall.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins is the guy who, again, has told zero lies throughout this whole thing. But his hatred for who the human being he thinks CM Punk is, and his hatred for the narcissist he thinks that Roman Reigns is, has him feeling like the heel. But you can't be the heel when your argument is, I'm protecting this business. Because if Roman wins, you're going away for 6 months and you're not going to make all the shows. If Punk wins, he's going to show that the rest of the indie wrestlers and the rest of the other wrestlers that if they don't like the way somebody's booking them, that they can go home and do whatever they want, and then when they come back, they'll be on to the top of the world. That's a Rollins' argument. Rollins' argument is, I'm the only one that can protect this industry because I'm going to be the one who's here night in and night out to protect it. Mm-hmm. So how can you be the heel in this aspect? And then you have Punk, who has done everything babyface-wise in this feud. But you know how I look at Punk and I look at him as the narcissist. He's this entitled, self-absorbed guy who thinks everything should be handed to him because he's a wrestling god. And then you have the other one who literally calls himself tribal chief, and everything in my world is about me. So I think it was a really impactful segment. These three guys are going to have a really great match night one of WrestleMania.
According to our logic, though, Seth is not going to win.
I know. I predicted Punk winning. Mm-hmm. I would love Seth to win because I think he needs it the most. I think his logic makes the most sense, but I think he needs it the most because he is not or has never been viewed as the number one guy in this company. And he is always struggled to be the Roman Reigns star. And then when Cody came back, he put Cody over 3 times to make Cody a star. He's done everything for this company behind the scenes to be the number one guy. And I think he should be put on that level with them. But Punk's going to win this match. I mean, it only makes the most sense for Punk to win this match. And another thing, Roman used his socials to put out a really good promo afterwards.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's in our wrestling chat. Tommy sent it last night, so Go watch it. Go watch it afterwards. Where he looks deranged, where he's talking about his betrayals, and he's talking about how his father, I'm assuming this was before his father died, asked him, why do you care what people think about you? Why do you need their acknowledgement? Why do you need all these things? And he essentially says, I don't care anymore. So I think you're going to start a deranged, broken Roman Reigns. If Heyman leaves WrestleMania with anyone other than Roman, a deranged, broken Roman Reigns who does not care who he hurts could be really, really interesting. Because now he's not the guy trying to build a family because of his insecurities. He's the guy who said, Jey left me, Jimmy left me, Sammy left me, Solo left me, Jacob, even though he wasn't in the bloodline with them, Jacob is his cousin. He's over here doing his own thing. And now my wise man left me. Having him lose his mind and just start destroying people, I'm for that Roman Reigns. I think that could be a really interesting, almost heelish take on his character because now he's crazy.
I agree. I can totally see that. I don't know at this point. For me, this is another match where all three of them can win, but realistically, the least likely is Roman because again, he's the one that's going to go away anyway. So it's really the other two. Yeah. Well,
he was champion for 4 years. He does not need a win.
Good sir, you can argue that Punk doesn't need it, and neither does Roman. But that
I think he needs it because he needs to legitimize his idea of being a WrestleMania main eventer.
Who?
Punk.
He doesn't need the win. He's way too
Punk needs the win.
He does not need the win. And besides, we both made the argument that this doesn't count as his main event and he's going to be chasing that for next year. That was
I agree. I agree.
argument.
No, my argument is he needs to beat these guys so that way he can legitimately say, I'm a WrestleMania main eventer, even though he's gonna.
But we're saying
But
who's going to win based off what is needed. I'm going with your other logic, which was Seth needs to get it because he's not technically on par with the other ones, or rather, he's not looked at as on par with the other ones, despite all the work and all the stuff that he's put into it, and so he needs it the most.
I agree. But that's my logic.
But again, by our logic, he ain't winning that match because he stood tall.
I think Punk wins this match. I think Punk is going to win this match. They're not gonna shoot the golden goose. Like
it doesn't hurt them.
They're already gonna shoot the golden goose on the other night with Cena and Cody. They're not gonna shoot the golden goose on both nights of WrestleMania. Punk's gonna get this win. It doesn't hurt him to get the loss, but I think he's gonna get the win, and you're gonna continue. I don't know if you continue the story with Heyman and Roman and Punk, because again, Roman's gonna go away for a while. So if Heyman does leave and go with Punk for a while, then later you pick this feud up. Like you could do this later in the year when Roman comes back. Maybe after Punk gets a win and you do a Punk Jey Uso feud for the title at SummerSlam, because even if we think Jey Uso is going to win that championship, I don't think he has a long championship reign.
No,
I think he might. I think he might hold it till SummerSlam or till Survivor Series, so 3 months, 4 months to 6 months for a Jey Uso title reign. Okay. And then you have a guy like a Punk or a guy like a Seth or a guy like a Braun come over and take it from him. Right? So I think that you could do that. And then if you want to do WrestleMania main event next year and you want to have a Punk Roman one-on-one for the title next year, I could see that for that title. But that's 12-month out booking. I'm just saying, like, I think Punk
No, I was just going to say, also going forward, you need to stipulate which Braun you're talking about, because I was picturing Strowman, and then it took me a minute to understand that you were talking about Breaker.
I would never put Braun Strowman in a world championship match. He's good. He's fine.
He is such a hater.
He's a former Universal Champion.
I was going to say, he's a former champion.
I know. He beat Goldberg.
Yeah, there you go.
In the match that was only given to him because Roman had leukemia and didn't want to do COVID WrestleMania.
Nope. Put respect on his name.
He's a good actor. He's a good athlete. He's a terrible actor. He's a good athlete. He's a 6'8", 385-pound behemoth.
But I don't want to see him. That's the thing that irks me is when we have, and not to get off track real quick, is when we have people who are like that, just give them a mouthpiece. And it's not like they don't have enough mouthpieces running around that goddamn building. They have so many different people who are dope on the mic that could take over. Like B-Fab should be a talker. She should not be a in-ring worker. You have the Paul Heyman. You have so many different people that are great on the mic that can cover up the imperfections of someone like a Braun Strowman. See, now you got.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. There's 3 of them. Braun, and Braun.
Wait, which one's the other one, Braun? Which one's
Braun, Sin, Reed.
Oh shoot.
Braun, Sin, Reed, Braun Strowman, and Braun Breaker.
I'm just not thinking of him because he's out right now.
Yeah. They can create their own.
That's another guy that's gonna. You see how many people are returning? That's gonna be another problem. That's another guy that they were pushing, and realistically, they were even pushing him in the bloodline for a little bit.
Well, that's for the Survivor Series match. Yeah,
I got you. But my point is that they were pushing him as well, and it's like so many people are coming back. They need to figure that. It's time for a 4th show.
Nope. Bro, we don't have time for another WWE show.
Put it on Wednesdays.
They have Evolve on Wednesdays.
Put that on Saturday.
That's when, okay, whatever. That Saturdays when they do their pay-per-views now, but okay. Well, they'll figure it out. Like, they have a lot of programming. They are between Raw, NXT, SmackDown, LFG, WWE Rivals. I feel like Stephanie's Place is on ESPN Plus. They just released a Peacock documentary about WrestleMania 9 that I didn't even know was coming out. Like they have too much programming sometimes. Like you made the joke yesterday. It's like, are you gonna watch LFG all day? I watched 4 episodes of LFG before we even watched Raw. That was 7 hours of wrestling I watched yesterday, and then I still watched the other company. Like it's a lot. I cannot do everything and watch all of this wrestling, even though I love it, and I will watch it because it's not because we're trying to make this a thing and a job. But I will like it's a lot of wrestling.
It is a lot of wrestling.
Just Raw, NXT, AEW, TNA, SmackDown, Collision. That's 6 days of wrestling if you watch everything. And then this weekend you have the double night of WrestleMania, and then you have Stand and Deliver Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10 hours of just WWE wrestling.
Me and Harm we're trying to figure out how we're even going to record because we got SmackDown, then we got the 2 nights of WrestleMania, followed by Monday Night Raw. When exactly were we going to have the time to record not be completely exhausted?
We can put out the SmackDown one Saturday
morning. Yeah.
Morning. No, I work Saturday morning.
Oh.
You can do it Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then I can watch Stand and Deliver, and then we can do the WrestleMania nights 1 and 2 review for Monday release.
It's just a
because
lot.
we're gonna have to do the Monday release for the WrestleMania because then we have the Raw after Mania Monday night. We have to do a Tuesday release then.
Yep.
So we're gonna have 3 podcasts coming out in the course of 4 days.
Yay!
If you're a loyal subscriber, you're gonna love it because we're gonna be delirious and we're gonna be saying some random stuff that don't make no sense.
I hope not. But overall, what is your thoughts on this episode?
It was fun. It was a decent enough show. It got everything to where it really needed to be. Like I said, the women's segments, the 3 promos were effective. The main event segment was effective. The only thing that really lacked was Jey Uso. Like it really took me out of it. The whole Jey Uso promo. Everything else was solid enough. I mean, Ray and Julius had a really good match. Like I said, Liv and Bayley had a really good match. It was just the one Jey Uso promo. Like that was just not needed. But other than that, solid show. B+. Nah, B-. B-. B+ is really good. B- is you're passing, but you can do better.
I feel you. I'm gonna agree with you. It is the Jey Uso for me, but it's also the Karrion Kross.
Okay.
At the end of the match, that just threw me off a little bit. Especially we were watching it live and we were talking about it. Like it just didn't make any sense for the character. Other than that, I thought it was a solid show. I think a B- is good. I think a B- is accurate of what we saw. Mm-hmm. The other thing that just threw me off, and it wasn't that it threw me off, it was just again when we started the show with Bayley and Liv, I was just like, why is this match a thing? I understood because you're doing the one-on-one before Mania. I got that, but it was just a match that I didn't need necessarily. It was fine. It was great. They're both great in-ring workers. But it's just a match that I just felt like it was a throwaway. It didn't feel like there was really going to be any consequence, which there really wasn't.
You get the baby faces a win on Raw, so that way when they lose Sunday or Saturday, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out a way to break them up after the match. So something will happen. I think something will happen during that match. One of them will accidentally strike the other one to cost them the titles, and then that's how you get Lyra and Bayley to break up as a tag team because this is literally a one-program tag team.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not really much of a tag team to even need a breakup, to be honest.
Yeah.
They only had one match together.
Yeah, only the gauntlet match.
Yeah, like there's not, but it's all of a sudden they're considered a team. That's ridiculous.
The women's tag division has always been a thing of just throwing women together. They've never really been teams. I mean, the Party Girls were the one that comes to mind of the only team. Oh, and the other two.
Pure Fusion Collective.
That's the epitome of throwing 3 women together you got nothing to do with.
There's only 2 now.
Yeah, I know. I was making that point during SmackDown that they're no longer a collective. How can you be a collective of two people? You're just a tag team. No one has bothered to redo their entire entrance theme Tron, nothing. They're just like, hey, no, who cares? That's really what it was. It's like we're gonna put Shayna and Zoe Stark in this gauntlet match because we need another team, but we're not gonna put them on TV for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So why waste the man hours to fix their theme?
You're not wrong. But anyways, as we told you guys, we're gonna have a lot of content coming up. We're gonna be recording a lot this week, a lot of wrestling to cover. So just
some of those clips on WrestleMania might be alcohol induced as well.
I hate you. So just continue to do what you're doing. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and leave comments below so that we can interact with you guys and grow the community, because that's our main focus, is growing the community into something where we can enjoy it, you can enjoy it, and again, it's all about wrestling. This is the time. This is the time to get back into wrestling and really fully enjoy it and commit to it. As Harm said, there's literally 6 days straight of just wrestling if you really wanted to.
And if you're in the Las Vegas area, you know all of those shows are gonna. Everybody's having like little indie shows around WrestleMania weekend. Josh Barnett's doing another Bloodsport, which is actually really cool. That both at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, Karrion Kross and Natalya are going to be there having matches. So if you're in the Las Vegas area for WrestleMania, go check out some indie wrestling. Go see some guys who you've probably never seen before.
And that's it for us. Catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.